Psalm chapter 14. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. I hope you heard the first one. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. So that's just saying that, I don't acknowledge God, and he in fact doesn't exist. And what does that make that person? Well, the Psalm of David, it really lays it out. He says, they are corrupt. So they've done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. So the things that they're doing, their works, are abominable. There is none that doeth good. So he doesn't leave anyone out, for chance. He includes everyone who has said that there is no God, that doesn't revere God. The Lord looketh down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. So it's like, as we are seeking God, as we're turning our faces toward heaven, toward God, to be heard, he's also in that same posture. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand. So it's like, as we're looking up, he's looking down. He's seeing if there are any that did understand and seek God. Do you seek God? Do you look for him? Do you look for him in your prayers? Do you look for him in your life? Do you look for him in your conversations, in every decision that you make, every thought that you have, every relationship that you enter into, all of your deeds, all of your dealings, all of your work, all of your interactions, all of your daily grind or your daily behaviors, your patterns? Is God a part of that? And do you seek him? Do you seek his will? Do you say, hey, I'd really like this to happen for my life, but what's your will? Because not my will, but thine be done. Do you seek God? Do you look for him in every step that you take? Do you look for him in the trees and in the clouds? Do you look for him in trying to hear him in the sounds that you hear, in the birds in the morning? Do you look for him as the sun is setting? Do you look for him in the moon at night? Do you seek God? They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Does God leave anybody out? No, not one. He said it. They are all gone aside. Now you may think, oh man, but I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I may not seek God, or I may not acknowledge God, but I'm a good person. What did God say? Ooh, he went ahead and said they are all gone aside. That you've strayed, that you've gone wayward. You've gone to the wrong way instead of the right way. They've all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. The deeds are filthy. They're not clean, that they're actually quite dirty. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. And you're thinking, oh man, but I am doing good, I really am. But without God as your center, without God, without seeking God as your not just companion, but your Lord, as a center of morality, as a center of goodness, then he defines that type of coming together as filthy, going aside, and there's none that doeth good, not one, not even one. Okay? Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Iniquity is sin. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord? So what could you do to change your ways? What could you do to change your ways right now? To call on the name of the Lord. Say, God, I see you, I believe, I hear you, I seek you right now. I know that my ways have gone astray. My ways have gone aside. I know that my ways have been filthy in your sight. I know that I've been eating up your people with my words and with my deeds, and I've been working against them, against the people of God. I know that I've been working and saying things against the people of God and eating them up like bread. If you've been doing those things, then call upon the name of the Lord. Call upon him, okay? So I'll go back. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord? There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Okay? So when you are not in God, and when God is not in you, you will be in great fear. But when you are in God, God is in the generation of the righteous. And so then you'll be in great fear. So, for God is in the generation of the righteous, they were in great fear. But actually, it's 14 verse 5. It is with the sentence, there were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. So are you poor? Are you without? Have you gone without? Is your food budget or your life budget pretty small? Have you been without? And you felt skipped over, you felt passed over, you felt like you weren't even given a chance, you felt hopeless, you felt like, boy, I don't even know how to dream anymore. I've wanted, but I've come up short, and I can't really seem to make it. So you have shamed the counsel of the poor. You haven't even, these men, they haven't listened, and women, they haven't listened to the poor and what they would have to say. Your ears have been closed to them, okay? Because the Lord is his refuge, all right? Notice that people without, a lot of times, are calling upon the name of the Lord because they have nowhere else to turn. And sometimes it's not such a shame to be poor, because in those moments, in those times, we call on the name of the Lord and we say, God, I don't know where I'm going to turn. And sometimes I wonder if it's just better for us sometimes just to have to struggle at times, because the Lord is listening to us when we call on his name, and because the Lord is listening to the poor. He can show up and he can show his hand as mighty on their behalf. You've shamed the counsel of the poor, verse 6 of chapter 14 in the Psalms. You've shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Okay, we'll stay with 14 verse 7, Psalm 14 verse 7. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, when the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, those who have gone away and been held captive, when they come back, when they're saved, and God has freed us. Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. So this is something to look forward to. Maybe it's not your state of living today. Maybe you're still in captivity. Maybe you haven't been freed. Maybe you haven't been brought back. Maybe you haven't been saved and you're waiting on the salvation of the Lord, but gladness is ahead of you. Gladness is ahead for Israel. Gladness is ahead for Jacob. Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. So just find yourself within the gladness that is ahead of you, for when you call upon the name of the Lord, when you make your voice known to God, know that he's seeking righteous people who are looking to him. He's seeking people who are acknowledging that God is and that God is God. He's seeking people to call on his name. I hope that you'll be one of those and today, and I hope that in the end you'll be rejoicing in gladness with Jacob and Israel, because we're brought out of captivity, we're brought into freedom, we're brought into light, and we're brought beyond what held us captive. We're brought into a time of rejoicing, and we're brought into gladness, and we're coming out of Zion. And this is an exciting thing. The salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. All right, thank you.